Everyone, good afternoon to all. SGTech has been appointed by IMDA to run the vendor briefing session since May 2019. SMEs Go Digital program is a national program administered by IMDA together with sector agencies to support digitalization for SMEs across 23 sectors as specified in industry transformation maps. We will cover the pre-approval process for new and re-application vendors. For sections 1 to 7, this is for both existing and new vendors. We will end off this segment with a Q&A, after which the existing vendors can drop off, and we will proceed to brief new vendors on the pre-approval process. Right now, I will pass the time to Dr. Tan Teck Keong to go through the productivity solution grants.
Thank you, Pauline. Good afternoon to all of you, and I wish you a wonderful day ahead. I've been with IMDA for about 4 months now, so I'm considered a newbie in this group here. So forgive me if I miss any of the key points that I need to talk about. But let me spend maybe the next 3 slides talk about the Productivity Solutions Grant, which was launched back in April 2018. So I think for most of you who are already in the program, you're very familiar with it. But essentially, it's a grant that has been well accepted, well adopted by the industry. And certainly, the details can be found in the following link here. The key thing here is that the maximum support level is up to 50% for all sectors. All right, with the exception, I think during the COVID period, we had it up to about 70%. But certainly now, in this time frame, it's back to 50%. And again, who can apply? Well, as long as you're registered and operating in Singapore and you have a minimum of 30% local shareholding, that makes it possible. Next, please. Okay, so this is a nice graphic to help those who have not at least been through the process get a pictorial view of how this whole PSG system works. So if you look at the top left corner, if you're starting out as a brand new vendor applying to be pre-approved by our program, the SME Go Digital pre-approval program, you would start here. And essentially what you would do is submit the application. IMDA and Enterprise Singapore will evaluate the submission. And then once you receive a letter of acceptance, LOA, then you can essentially start to provide the information that's necessary. Vendor plans, marketing strategies to onboard SMEs. That's something that you would do, obviously, in your everyday business. And then, obviously, you would issue quotation to SMEs, kick off project once the SME BGP, which is the Business Grant Portal application ID is available. While at the same time, right, the boxes in green are those that applies to the SMEs, right? So if they talk to you and they get a sense of the solution that you're offering, they would then proceed in parallel as to what you're doing, essentially. Okay, and that takes us to the end where you provide your service and support the SME for the first year, and then the SME receives a payout on submission, the claim. Okay, I think this should be pretty straightforward, but certainly if this is not clear to anybody, feel free to let us know. We'll be happy to walk it through in greater detail. Next, please. Okay, so this is one of my favorite slides because we get to talk about why it makes sense for you, if you're a vendor today and you're not on the program, why you should consider seriously about joining. Partly because I think there's a lot of benefits. And this year, especially, we have some new initiatives. As you probably know, we have already launched the Digital Enterprise Blueprint. That has given us new impetus to go and drive more digitalization activities, more towards the advanced level of digitalization. And obviously, one of the reasons why we have this program today is to update and inform you of some new programs that we're coming forward to offer you so that you can also improve on your capability as a solution provider, right? So apart from the support of up to 50% of the cost of digitalization for SMEs, you can also get a fair amount of visibility and credibility, right? I mean, the pre-approved program has been a program that's been around for a few years now, and it has received a certain brand recognition. And obviously, we've been organizing workshops in the past, but this year alone, we're going to do more of that, right? Exclusive workshops whereby you can participate with the partners that we have. In fact, we have one today that we'll talk about later on. And I'm very happy to share that with you. And obviously, these workshops are designed or curated to help you get the best out of the technology and the partnerships with the industry leaders, as well as having a more defined systematic roadmap to build your product so that at the end of the day, you can serve the SMEs better. Early access to new solution categories, right? So obviously, this is something that we're constantly improving, right? You'll be informed of new solution categories as and when they're available. And finally, we have the enhanced business opportunities. As you know, we also have the CTO as a service program whereby the SMEs can basically go to get CTO-like services. And obviously, for SMEs to go to those services, the first go-to solutions would be the ones found in the pre-approved solution category. So that means you, essentially, if you're on the program. So it makes a lot of sense to get on board and essentially make the best of it. And the best part about it is obviously the partnerships, the kinds of friendships that you get to build, and also the opportunities that you will see now and going forward. Next, please. So this is the beginning and certainly not the end, right? We have been working as part of what I said earlier on with industry giants to essentially bring forward technology and best practices. And as you well know, AI and generative AI in particular have been at the forefront, front and center of the media, as well as what you see in the papers today. So this is an area that we are very excited about. We are very keen to want to bring to you the expertise, the best practices and technology from our pledge partners so that you can upgrade your solution. And at the end of the day, by uplifting your solution, you are obviously going to be more competitive, correct? And you will not only be more competitive, but you'll also be able to reach out to more customers and keep up with this dynamic landscape that we're in. So GenAI is certainly the theme that we've been harping on for, I guess, a few months now, starting from last year. And we're continuing this effort. And today, I'm very pleased to announce to you that we have been working in the background with Google and some of the partners that we'll talk about later on to essentially provide this program to you with the emphasis on helping you develop products. We call them MVPs for now. Certainly, a 10-week program to help you build a concept based on use cases that you envision will be compelling for your particular industry. So without further ado, I want to bring on Geraldine from Google, who will talk about the details of this program. And certainly, because you are an exclusive part of this ecosystem, we want this to be made available for the first time. So you're seeing it for the first time, hearing it for the first time on this channel. Go ahead, Geraldine.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. Thank you very much for the introduction. And thank you to IMDA for the opportunity to have the chance to share about Trailblazer program to all of you here today. So a very good afternoon to all of you and happy Friday. I'm Geraldine from Google Cloud. So before I start my sharing, I would like to first show all of you a video that will give you a very quick, good overview about what the Trailblazer program is about. Next, please.
The inaugural AI Trailblazers program was quite a revelation to all of our participants. It made their processes more efficient, it gave them the promise of cutting costs, or it made their products far more customer-centric and delightful for their users. Many of them, however, also realized that their tech stacks needed to be improved, or their data needed to be cleaned up, or various things needed to be put in place in order to make this new technology work for them and for their businesses.
Our refreshed national AI strategy seeks to harness AI for the public good, with government using AI to improve our core business of serving the public. The Google AI Trailblazer program has not only exposed our officers to the possibilities of AI, but has given them hands-on experience in developing quick prototypes to be able to solve their everyday problems. Officers have unleashed creativity in developing great products, such as improving online report lodging, as well as improving access to badminton court bookings, which are incredibly important to Singaporeans.
We are partnering with Google. The whole idea is for the residents to interact with this conversational chatbot, for them to search for the badminton court. There is a very well-defined developers environment for our in-house team to be able to customize, redefine the search experience using generative AI technology to guide the residents in their booking transaction.
Can you share with us more about your AI Trailblazer journey?
The AI Trailblazer program is instrumental in shaping our solution, especially in consolidating and streamlining our approach.
The Sandbox environment also allows us to build something quickly and to experiment quickly, and so that actually we can see what works and what does not work for us.
We're able to leverage the cloud platform itself, and that has given us a tremendous leverage across the huge amounts of data that we require in our manufacturing processes.
We are adopting a stakeholder-centric approach to identify new use cases and embrace value co-creation through the capabilities of generative AI.
A major thing that Trailblazer did for us was it gave us, a North Star. It gave all the stakeholders in our company something to rally around. That allowed us to sort of have a framework where everyone could come in and contribute their part. And without that framework, it would have been really difficult to achieve liftoff for this project.
So to all our AI Trailblazers, congratulations and thank you. Thank you for prototyping with us. Thank you for persevering through this process. And most of all, thank you for pushing the boundaries in order to bring AI to life in your business.
Next slide, please. So I hope you guys, after looking at the video, are feeling very interested and very curious. What is this Trailblazer program? So yes, so the Trailblazer program was started back 1 year ago in 2023. And back then, MCCI and Google Cloud had a very lofty goal. We wanted to actually co-create 100 AI use cases over 100 days. So last year, we managed to hit that milestone. And this year, EDB has decided that, okay, a lot of companies are still very keen to actually adopt AI, and Singapore is still not at the level of AI maturity that we want the nation to be. So EDB this year has actually pioneered to actually continue the Trailblazers program and to actually lengthen the program. This year, we're actually running a 1-year program series to actually create 150 use cases across all industries. So the key mandate is really how do we uplift the nationwide AI adoption across all industries. Now, today, I would like to share with you why joining this program is good for you. So when you join this program, organizations like you will be given access to the suite of advanced generative AI tools from Google Cloud at no cost over 10 weeks, where you can actually develop your MVP-ready GenAI solutions. So these tools include, high computing GPUs, Vertex AI platform, the foundational models, and also access to our model garden. And you also have access to low-code development tools. So you will get everything you need. In addition, you also have access to Google Cloud technical experts who are going to be around to actually help you to ideate your use cases from inception to production ready. And last but not least, you also have the opportunity to network and learn from other companies who are actually also on this journey to actually advance their organization in the AI. Next. Now, In the next few minutes, I want to take some time to share with you, if you were to come on board this 10 weeks journey, how it will look like over the next 10 weeks. So the 10 weeks journey starts with week 1, where you will come to Google Office for a 1-day workshop. During the 1-day workshop, you will spend first half of the day understanding about generative AI technologies, what's available today, how is generative AI being applied across different industries today, how is it used in different types of use cases. And then second half of the day, you will get some time to be able to do some hands-on lab exercises in Google Cloud environment. And then we will spend about 1.5 hours to ideate your use case. So you will be sitting in groups within your own company. So you will not be sharing your use cases with other companies if you're not comfortable to. And you are going to get a technical consultant at your table to actually walk through your use case with you and ideate the use case. So when you come on board this program, you have to be prepared with about 1 to 3 use cases on top of your mind that you would like to solve as business problems in your company. And after the first workshop, you will be given 1 week to go back and discuss with your team which of the 3 use cases you want to actually develop in the next 10 weeks. So you have the option to develop only 1 use case or up to 3 use cases. It's all dependent on your team's comfort level. By week 2, you will need to submit the final use cases that you would like to develop. And EDB and Google will review that use case and see whether that is an applicable use case to be solved using generative AI. When your use case are being approved, you will get access to the logins to the platform. And that's when your team can actually start working on creating the use case and the solution. Along the way, you will get access for virtual technical support from Google Cloud, where you can actually reach out to Google Cloud engineers to ask any questions that you may have about how to, for example, improve the accuracy of your model or find a better way to actually solve your business problem. And we are going to have a midpoint demo at sometime around week 5, where your team has to come back to demo, kind of like a prototype that you have actually created. It can be just a wireframe at this stage, doesn't have to be the full-fledged solution. And then you get more time over the next few weeks before a final demo and presentation to EDB and IMDA folks at Google Office. So in terms of time commitment, I would say it's a 1 full day workshop at Google Office, and then 2 30 minutes on-site, and then another 2 30 minutes virtual technical support. So the rest of the timing is really based on your own time, own target that you can actually work on the use case. And after the 10 weeks of the program, we will actually do a virtual graduation sometime in probably week 14, week 15, and all the participants will also get a digital certificate of completion. Next slide, please. Now, of course, there are some qualifying criteria. So as part of the Trailblazer program, the whole idea is really to empower companies and create an opportunity for companies to explore use cases that will be relevant and useful for your business. So one of the qualifying criteria is that the company itself must already be using digital technology for your business operation, or already have got some digital products that you want to enhance. Secondly is you must have an existing digital or AI team in Singapore with a global or a regional mandate to say that you want to digitize your business operations. And most importantly is you must be able to commit a team of at least 3 members that includes a spectrum of from different functions like the business owner, a software developer, data scientist, UI UX designer, or a product manager to work collectively on the generative AI use case. So we have got teams that comes in with maybe a team of 6 even. So you can have up to 6 logins when you actually join the program. So, but minimally, you must have 3 members who are actually able to attend the workshop locally. Then you need to have up to 3 ready use cases or problem statements that you want to solve with generative AI. And last but not least, it is very important to get executive support from your senior management that you want to participate in this program to ensure the success, of the program. Next, please. Now, how do you get started? So if that if the above sounds interesting and you're interested to explore more, so firstly, we will provide you a link at the next slide to register your interest. After you have, once you actually go into the link, you have to get ready, for example, the team members who are going to join the program, the 3 use cases that you would like to explore, and along with some other company information. EDB, upon receiving your interest, they will actually evaluate your application and contact you within about a week to 2 to validate and confirm the eligibility of your company to join the program. After your eligibility is confirmed, you will get a delegated registration link to confirm your attendance for the workshop. Your team after that will get an email confirmation with details of pre-work available and also the different dates that you need to take note over the course of the next 10 weeks. And of course, get excited and join us at the program. Next slide, please. So this is actually a QR code that you can actually get access to more information about the Trailblazer program. And the upcoming cohort that we have delegated in this exclusive partnership with IMDA will be happening on 21st October. So we hope that all of you can actually register your interest to join us on 21st October. Next. So we understand that when we go through the program, there are usually some FAQs. So we have provided some high-level FAQs to walk through with you. And if you have further questions, you can actually email IMDA or email us, and we will actually address them later. So for example, I mentioned, some companies are not comfortable to share your use case because they might be proprietary to your business for your competitive differentiator. So rest assured, you will not be sharing your use case with other companies. You will sit with your own team at your own table, and discussions are limited to your team and a Google technical engineer. And we will not assign a partner SI to your table if you request for it. Now, is there a maximum number of team members per team? Maximum 6 logins will be provided. However, on day 1 of the workshop, if you have more team members who would like to learn more about Google Cloud technology, we welcome up to 8 people to attend workshop day. Next, please. Now, must you have 3 use cases? So the recommended number is 1 to 3 because actually a lot of people may not have a very good understanding what use cases are relevant or can be solved with generative AI. So we are requesting for you to be prepared with up to 3 so that just in case 1 or 2 doesn't work out, you have backup. So if you are very sure your use case can be solved with GenAI and you only want to work on 1 use case, that's also possible. However, for the initial application, it is good to have 3 to be submitted. So I have walked through this before. What is the time commitment? So it's actually 1 full day workshop day at Google Office, 2 30 minutes on-site presentation at Google Office, and 2 30 minutes technical reviews. Next slide. So what help will you be given over the course of 10 weeks? So we will assign a technical consultant on workshop day. And then throughout the journey, you have access to technical support via email and remote meetings. And in the event, if you need more help, we also have our partner SIs that we can partner you up with, and you can have your own arrangements with them, whether to engage them for their services to support you throughout the 10 weeks. Next. Now, can I send more than 1 team? So there are some companies which are very on a larger scale and they are very competitive and they say that, oh, I want to have more teams to actually benefit from this program. So yes, you can send more than 1 team as long as the team members for each team is different and the use cases that you're submitting are different. EDB will evaluate accordingly and then contact your company and approve accordingly. So what tools will you be using to develop the use case? As this is a Google Cloud and EDB collaboration, you will be provided access to all the tools on Google Cloud Platform, Gemini, Vertex AI, models on Model Garden, and BigQuery, for example. Next. So I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share with all of you about the Trailblazer program. We hope that all of you are enthusiastic and would like to join us on the October cohort. And if there are any questions, we welcome them, and you can contact IMDA, or you can actually contact us later on.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Geraldine. I'm Nicholas, Assistant Manager from IMDA Strategic Digital Projects. Specifically, I'm sharing how we are empowering local enterprises with GenAI today. Specifically, I will be going through two different initiatives on trying to drive GenAI adoption in Singapore for various industries as well. Next. So the way we see it across the entire local enterprise landscape is a spectrum of companies across various levels of digital maturity. Specifically, we bucketize them into two portions. One are the SMEs with broad-based SMEs with lower level of digital maturities. And the other ones are what we call digitally mature enterprises with more capacity and willingness to deploy and customize, deploy and develop different GenAI applications. So on the left-hand side, what we see here is a program called Generative Sandbox for SMEs. Essentially, what we are trying to do with the Sandbox is really to support SMEs that are just embarking on their digital journey to experience GenAI, to have hands-on experience with GenAI so that they are more comfortable with adopting GenAI as a technology, as we believe that it can really help them to leapfrog in terms of their productivity and various business outcomes. On the right-hand side, we have another program called GenAI Digital Leaders. This program particularly are more suited for digitally mature enterprises with the capacity and the willingness to develop and deploy customized GenAI projects. And I will elaborate a little bit further at the later stage for these two programs. Next. So I will talk about GenAI Sandbox first. Next slide. To give a very quick overview of this program, there are three key things to take note here. First is that although just similar to PSG and other programs, we do support a 12-month deployment process, but yet this 12 months is then split into 3 plus 9. Essentially, SMEs have the opportunity to test the solution for 3 months, for the first 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, they will have an option of whether or not they want to continue with an additional of 9 months deployment. Next, for the eligible SMEs, they can get a support of up to 50%, where SME pay 50% first and then vendor claims the other 50% from IMDA. And last but not least is that if the vendors, meaning those solution vendors that join us in this program, reach a certain volume of satisfied customers, they also stand a chance to transit over to the more evergreen program called, which I believe TK has shared earlier, called the Productivity Solutions Grant. Essentially, this allows you to support your customers for a much longer period of time. A couple of key things to highlight from the very first run of Sandbox. We actually launched this Sandbox program earlier this year, and within a 3-month onboarding period, there were over 150 signups across various sectors. 13 solution vendors actually joined us for the first run of Sandbox, and about 80% of the SMEs actually wanted to continue with the remaining 9-month package. And finally, about 70% of vendors has already expressed interest to transit and are eligible to transit over to PSG. Next. So I would just like to share that actually the GenAI Sandbox version 2 is in preparations now, and we are actually calling for any vendors with potential solutions in 3 key categories. Generative web design, which essentially are any applications that can generate websites or web layouts based on prompt or chat interface, right? Another one would be agent-facing virtual assistants, which really aims to support human agents, for example, customer service agents or sales agents in their sales engagements or engagements with, say, disgruntled customers, where these solutions really provide them with either coaching or some recommended next steps in terms of handling different customers or trying to close a sales deal. Last but not least, we are also seeing demand in HR operations, and so we are also looking for potential solutions that can support HR managers in the various HR functions, such as onboarding, training, engagement, as well as talent acquisition. But more importantly is that this list is really non-exhaustive, and so we also welcome other more innovative or interesting GenAI-powered solutions that might be suited for SMEs. So if you currently have a solution that you believe has generative AI capabilities and would be suited would be suited for SMEs and want to reach out to SMEs and also provide subsidies for your customers, please feel free to scan the QR code on the right-hand side and apply and register your interest now. All the applicants or that have registered for interest will be invited to a vendor briefing at the later part of September. Next. Oh, one thing, the deadline for the call for solutions ends at about 2 to 3 Fridays later, 20th September. So please register your interest as soon as possible. Just a couple of things to take note. There are several criteria that we are looking for here for potential solution vendors to join us for Sandbox. One is for the solutions, they need to have GenAI technology infused. They need to be easy to deploy, easily adoptable by SMEs. The cost must be at an affordable price point. It should have clear benefits to users, and also the solution itself should have already built in place certain level of cybersecurity or robust level of security, and also help to mitigate potential risks for enterprise usage of GenAI. For vendors, we are looking at companies that are incorporated in Singapore and also can provide local technical support to the SME customers. We are looking at vendors that have the financial capability to see through the completion of this project, and finally also commit a minimum of 10 participating companies by the end of the onboarding period. For all the eligible applicants, we will then invite you for an industry panel evaluation, likely to happen later part of this month or early October, before we finally do a formal application, which will then lead to the launch of the program later this year. Next. So just now I talked about the criteria for you as a vendor and for your solutions. This is more for your users. It must be operating in Singapore, ACRA registered. It must have a 30% local shareholding, and also not have a sales turnover over 100 million per annum, or a group employment size of not more than 200 employees. Yeah. Next. So what I shared just now was more on the generative AI sandbox, which are meant more for the broad-based SMEs. We do have another program, which I briefly shared at the very start of my presentation. It's called the IMDA GenAI Digital Leaders Initiative. This is my second ask to you guys as vendors. Next. Next. Just click through. Yeah. So on essentially what this shows is that GenAI Sandbox is really suited for companies that are just embarking on their digitalization journey, whereas this program, GenAI Digital Leaders, is really looking for SMEs or companies, any companies, not just SMEs, that are looking for customized solutions but require certain know-how and expertise to really leverage on GenAI to develop such customized solutions. Next. So for the GenAI Digital Leaders, if you have potential clients that are interested and have ideas on potential customized solutions for GenAI with GenAI capabilities, what we would prompt you to do is really connect with us, email your client's proposal or your client's proposal to us, to either myself or my colleagues here. Submit your idea so that then we can link you up with the various tech vendors and tech giants to scope out some of this project, and then eventually lead to the project kickoff. So for the submission, we would need a 10-slide PowerPoint slide of up to 10 slides, including the various key partners, the use case, and the potential impact, the scope, the timeline, the cost, as well as what is the growth potential beyond this project itself. Just a quick note, the project beneficiaries, meaning your potential clients, have to have at least 30% local shareholding. Next. Yeah, so with that, this comes to the end of my presentation. I would prompt you to really scan this QR code if you have any potential off-the-shelf solutions that you want to apply for to come on board the GenAI Sandbox program, so that it can really support your potential customers in the future. Yeah, that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Good afternoon, all. JS here from the SME Go Digital pre-approval team. So I see a lot of familiar names in the attendance. So thank you for taking your afternoon to join us. So after what Nicholas has been shared, I'm just going through what are the new GenAI solution categories, GenAI-enabled solutions categories that we have launched in July. Pauline, slide next, please. So back in later part of July, I think there was an SME conference at Marina Bay Sands. Over there, SMS Low actually announced the launch of these new solution categories. So with that, as of late July, vendors can already apply to onboard as one of the GenAI solutions. So I'm just going to very quickly take you through in the interest of time, but if you want more details, can always refer back to last month's vendor briefing. Over there, you will be able to go through the checklist line by line in terms of what's the requirements, and then also what are we looking at for the applications. Hold this slide next, please. Yeah, next, please. All right, so the first solution category that we have introduced is also taken from the GenAI Sandbox 1.0. All right, so earlier Nicholas was talking about 2.0, but this is actually graduating from the first Sandbox. So for this solution category, what we are essentially looking at is any chatbots that are pertaining to your leads management, your sales assistant, or even with respect to your customer service. So we don't want a canned response. So what we are looking at is that these chatbot must be able to be trained or to be set up in a certain way that is contextualized to the SMEs database. All right, so it needs to be linked to either your website, linked to your CRM or your e-commerce platform, such that it can then make a contextualized response with regards to what the customer is asking for. All right, so that's the very, very high level. In terms of your specific details, I implore you to just really look at the checklist, fill up the checklist to the best of ability, and then come into us, and then we can try to see where the conversation goes. All right, slide next, please. So the next solution category that we have also introduced in July is actually marketing and sales content generation. So as what I've mentioned for the chatbot component, same thing, similar things, we need it to be contextualized. So basically, there should be a one-off setup or should be a training model that helps the SMEs to refine the outputs. All right, so this can be in the form of structured data, unstructured data that you can feed to the model, and then brand guides, for example, right? So for example, if you want to generate a blog post, if you go to ChatGPT, they may not necessarily give it to you in the flavor and the personas that you want. So what we expect from vendors is for SMEs to be able to contextualize the GenAI tool, and then from there they can generate the social media posts, whether is it audio, video, that they can then post on their respective channels. All right, so these are the things that we are looking at for these two solution categories. Slide next, please. So one thing to note, I think we have mentioned it last month. So I think in our typical PSG pre-approved vendor requirements, we need your customer references to be 6 to 18 months go live date from the date of application. But for these two solution categories, the chatbot as well as the marketing and sales that I've mentioned earlier, we are extending this to 3 to 18 months. Also as a because the GenAI is a relatively nascent thing, so we want to be able to accept more vendors to come forth to put up your application. So this is an exception that we're making for these solution categories. Slide next, please. So if you are interested, please reach out to us. The contact person for this would be Jie Ling. She presented the last month's GenAI. So reach out to us, and then we will get in touch with you in terms of how you can come on board for these two solution category. Next, please. All right, so for this part, I'm going to hand it back to TK, who just take you through what are some of the solution categories that we are looking at, and then for you to reach out to us in terms of, what you have. TK, please.
Thank you, JS. So I know there's a lot of information coming at you, ladies and gentlemen, so bear with us. You will see the end of this eventually. So I just wanted to go through a few of the ones that were mentioned in the last briefing. Clearly, this one is about legal solutions category. Right, so we're looking for solutions vendors who are able to fill these categories: risk assessment solution, online legal research system, and document assembly software. So again, if you were to download the checklist, it would be under legal on the website. Next, please. We also have others like the e-discovery tool and the legal chatbot, as well as the what I mentioned earlier on, the document review software. Next, please. And then, not to be outdone, the retail category is also looking out for solution vendors. And certainly if you are in this space, please look at the self-checkout solution as well as the electronic shelf label for your particular offerings. Thank you. Next, please. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the call for solutions. And certainly a lot of the details, will be found on the website. I, certainly don't want to bore all of you with all the minutiae. Let's talk about other exciting stuff, upcoming and past workshops. Let's go on. So the one that is front and center here is the second one of the GenAI workshop, which was organized jointly by Microsoft, Crayon, and IMDA. And I think coming from that first workshop, which was very successful. We had a lot of interest, and subsequently, the participants also had a lot of sessions with the vendors to basically try to ideate and take the solution forward. We're also organizing this next one on the 19th of September. So if you missed the first one, don't fret. The next one is coming up 19th September. Again, what are we doing here? Yeah, just looking at specific GenAI use cases. You'll have speakers from both Microsoft and Crayon talk about the kinds of GenAI use cases that are available today that you can consider. Because we know some of the vendors that we have do not have a very clear idea yet of what use cases would apply to their specific industry. So this would be a great one to get more details. And then, of course, there's a fireside chat, which I think was such a huge success the last time. We just didn't even have enough time to cover all the questions. So again, you can ask interactively on the fireside panel and ask your questions away. And again, it's just a great way to get information, and more importantly, for us to get to know you. I'm personally very interested to know each and every one of you because, as I said, I'm fairly new in IMDA. So really looking forward to those of you who have expressed interest to join, and looking forward to meet up with you. Okay. So next, please. Oh, there's also a little discussion on grant support as well. Yep. Okay. And again, if you're interested, scan the QR code. We also have added in, right, because we've been talking a lot about GenAI, front and center, left and right, but very importantly is this notion of security. Okay, so to that end, we're organizing with CSA a workshop on how to fortify your organization and make cybersecurity your competitive advantage. Here are the key takeaways. I think a lot of times, and I think we're still seeing a fair amount of headlines in the papers today about data breaches, hacks, ransomware, spams, and all that. So it's becoming very much a part of our life to deal with in terms of how you protect your data, your customers' data, those of you who are managing things like CRM and so forth. Very important for you to be kept up to date on what are some of the nuances and things that you have to be mindful about when you talk about cybersecurity, protecting your data, be they on premise or on cloud. You got to be very careful, and you've got to be fairly systematic as well. So we want you to come and attend this workshop and hear from CSA, from ourselves, what are some of the new things coming down the pipeline so that you don't get missed out. Okay, next, please. Okay, a general reminder for existing vendors, we have the revised data analytics and personal data protection requirements for pre-approved solution, as well as the minimum cybersecurity standards that you should be aware of. As you know, let's go to the next slide. We'll talk about it some more. I think more things. Yes. Okay. So this is something that you should take note of. Okay, mandatory for all digital solutions to comply with the data analytics and personal data protection requirements by November 30th. Okay, especially if you want to be on the pre-approved program under SMEs Go Digital. It's certainly got a lot of resources for you if you want to get more information. Next slide, please. So as of 9th May this year, the new requirement under the General Assessment tab, item 12, CSA Cybersecurity Essential Mark, was made a preferred requirement. Now, I think for those of you who've been in the program long enough, you'll know that eventually, right, we will be looking at making it mandatory. So it is important that you at least get your ducks in a row and make sure that you are prepping your organization up to at least meet the general CSA Cyber Essentials mark, because it's really a very useful and to a large extent, it's not a very advanced cybersecurity standard. It's really quite basic. So we want to at least make sure that you have the basic requirements that satisfy the Cyber Essentials mark. So eventually, this may become mandatory. Okay, next, please.